confidently say that, I mean, if you can kind of cure anxiety, I'm pretty darn close to it. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bri and welcome to my channel. So I realized lately that it's been a while since I've updated you all last on my mental health journey, which, if you don't know, my New Year's resolution this year for 2021 was to finally get a grip on my mental health and tackle my anxiety head on, because I'm just really done with it controlling my life and limiting me to what I can do and stuff like that. So I decided to take the year of 2021 to tackle that head on and hopefully get a grip or quote unquote cure my anxiety. I don't really know if you can cure anxiety, if that's actually a thing, but I'm here to give you a little update because last time I updated you, I'm pretty sure it was like a 2-month check-in or something like that. So it was in around like end of February, March-ish time. And now it's like approaching the end of July. So we're kind of at like a 6-7 month mark at this point. And I can confidently say that, I mean, if you can kind of cure anxiety, I'm pretty darn close to it. I'm gonna kind of give you guys some of the tips on what I've done to kind of combat that and get a grip on my mental health and stuff like that, and things that you guys can use in your life if you're struggling with things like that too. Obviously, I am by no means a mental health professional. I have no training in any of that. These are just things that I've done myself and the things that have worked for me in my own personal case. So do with that what you will. And I know I talked about a few of these in the last video when I did a 2-month check-in, but I have some other things that I've kind of thought about and have realized that I think would really help other people to better understand themselves and better understand what they can do to help themselves. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so obviously with tackling something like this, it takes a lot of thinking and a lot of just like understanding what is going on in your body. So one thing I did immediately is I needed to physically understand in my brain what was going on and why this was happening to me. So I think the first step in trying to tackle your anxiety is understanding what is the fear that is causing this, because ultimately the anxiety stems from a fear of something. Your body is reacting to a fear, and that's why like these things are happening to you. And everyone reacts differently to anxiety and they have different things that happen to them. I can give you examples of what happens to me. This doesn't mean that's what's gonna happen to you. But basically, I realized that my ultimate fear that was causing my anxiety is the one fear I actually have in life, and it's the fear of death, which I don't wanna get too like sad and like deep about this, but I do have a fear of death, and that's just me. Now, getting to this fear was like a very like long drawn out type of like this causes this to get to here type of thing, but ultimately that's kind of where it comes from. Now, what's also very important in this kind of journey is understanding the triggers and understanding the things that are happening to you before the big breakout or the big panic attack sets in. So if you can understand what your triggers are and what type of situations or locations or things that happen that could put you in that type of situation, that can help you better understand either to try to avoid those things or to maybe do the opposite and tackle those things head on and like try to put yourself in those situations to get used to being in them and ultimately build up some type of like resistance to them or just get used to them. So for me personally, a lot of my anxiety and like the triggers with it, what happens when I get anxious are I get very nauseous, very feeling of full, and could possibly get sick. From that, I have no control over my body temperature, so I get very cold very easily, and I'll start like physically shaking. Or the opposite could also happen. Sometimes I get very hot and where I like feel like I just can't cool down and I feel very confined. So those are things, so I know if that's starting to happen, I might just like kind of take a step back and be very quiet, which is very noticeable to a lot of people around me, which is also very helpful because I think it's also really great to have a really good support system and have the people that are really close to you be aware of your situation and being able to sense those triggers coming on as well and sense that something is wrong so that they can properly help you and like give you motivational words or try to help you calm down. And for me, that's something that my family has always been really great at, and Cole has been amazing at. I really started to see a lot of improvement in my anxiety once me and Cole got together, which I don't know if that really has like a lot to do with it, but he's definitely been a really great resource for me. And he just always feels, I always feel like he knows what to say when I'm having a hard time, and he's always there to kind of help me calm down, which is really great. I kind of took the steps in my anxiety that I wanted to go like baby steps into tackling those things head on that I was fearful of, or like situations that I know would trigger certain things in me. One of those was always like the idea of eating out was always very scary to me. So I never really ate out hardly ever. I always wanted to kind of make everything I ate because a lot of my triggers were getting nauseous, and I didn't want to get nauseous in public and be around a lot of people when I wasn't feeling great. So I just kind of avoided going out in general, which made when I had to go out very difficult and almost always caused a problem, especially with like my family and stuff. And I just hated doing that. I hated being and feeling like a problem to people. So I kind of took it in steps to help get myself used to doing that again. So maybe that started of I would just like order out from somewhere and like still bring it home. So I was still in the comfort of my own home, but I was eating things that I wasn't physically making myself. And it got me used to, okay, I know I can have these foods. Like I don't have a problem with the food at all. It's definitely the environment that I'm fearful of or that are causing these issues. So at least I knew that I'm not getting nauseous because of the food I'm eating. It's nothing like having to do with that. And then after getting used to doing things like that, then it was maybe going to a restaurant that I was very comfortable in, or I'd been to many times. So if I could be in like a booth in the back corner or something, that I wasn't surrounded by a lot of people. I was kind of in my own little bubble and didn't feel like I was being watched by a lot of people, or didn't feel like I was in a super crowded space. That was very helpful to me as well. And I just kind of took that in baby steps and eventually was able to go out to eat and kind of like not get anxious at all and like just get through the meal like in my normal way. Made me feel really normal, which was amazing. And nowadays, like I go out pretty often. I mean, I'd probably say like once every week or two or something. Me and Cole will go on a lot of like breakfast dates or brunch dates or whatever, out to dinner, and like it's always been like really fun. We've never really had too much of a problem. I may have had a problem like once or twice, but like other than that, it's been like really great, and it just makes me feel so much better to be able to like do stuff that I was normally used to doing as a kid and like don't have the problems with now. So yeah, knowing your triggers, having a good support system, taking baby steps into doing things that cause you a little bit of fear so that that fear then goes away. Those are very helpful, and those were extremely helpful to me. I've also had a lot of really great resources that I've used once I'm in an anxious state, which I shared in my last video. I have 2 apps or podcasts that I would listen to through meditation, which meditation was a super helpful tool for me to kind of get my breathing back on track, take nice deep breaths, hear encouraging words and soothing music in the background. Just really calmed me down. So one of those resources was the Calming Anxiety podcast, which you can find on Spotify, Apple Music, all those types of places. It's this guy Martin who just kind of talks to you, and he makes a video every single day helping people with anxiety. I loved using that. I don't use it too much now because I'm not really feeling that anxious, which is great, but when I do have an episode coming up, I will turn one of those on that matches how I'm feeling that day, and I just kind of listen to it, and it works really great. Another app that I use is called Insight Timer, and that's another like meditation type of app. They have all different types of stuff, from guided meditations, which is what I normally do, to just calming music if you're trying to like sleep better, or timed stuff if you need something for a certain period of time, or yoga, or all this different type of stuff. And it's a completely free app, so I'd highly recommend downloading it and just always having it on your phone, so in case you need to listen to something, you can turn that on and kind of find something that works for you. Also, going along with knowing your triggers and knowing how to combat them, I always try to be prepared for the worst case scenario to happen and have things with me that could help combat those. So having those apps and those podcasts to listen to is always really great because I always have my phone with me. So if I have headphones on me, that's nice for me to just kind of tune into my own little world. Also, one of my triggers being that I get very cold very easily, having a jacket on hand can help kind of calm me down just to feel warm and safe if I'm in an anxious state or I know that I'm getting anxious. That's very helpful to me. I think it's also just important to know that everyone's journey is different, everyone's timeline is different. It's not always like an easy thing. If you need to go to therapy, that's a great tool as well. I never went to therapy. I was very open to doing it, but I never felt like it was to a point where I had to go or I needed someone like that to help me get through stuff like that. So I was lucky enough to be able to do this on my own, at my own pace, and just kind of work with myself and my close friends and family around me to be able to get myself to a good place and continue moving in the right direction. But yeah, I can confidently say that I can live like a semi-normal life now, which I haven't been able to say in probably a good 7 to 8 years, which is how long I've been battling with this anxiety. But yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, like I said, no one's perfect. I don't know if there's actually a cure for anxiety. I definitely still get anxious from time to time, but it's very rare, and I haven't had like a long drawn out episode like I would used to in my worst state, like, you know, I don't even know how long. Normally it's I get anxious for a small moment, but I'm able to calm myself down within like minutes or an hour or whatever and be back to normal. And it's just been really great, and I've been really happy about it, that I can just kind of be normal again. But yeah, if you or anyone you know is struggling with these types of things as well and want to show them this video, please feel free. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below to stay up to date on my latest content. You can also follow me on Instagram or TikTok at Graf100 to stay up to date on my content there. And I will see you guys next week, Thursday at 6 p.m. Bye!